In a world filled with chaos, we find the Morio ghosts, and the reason behind their appearance is the atmosphere filled with regret and fear of death, which creates demons that possess the living and turn them into monsters. The uncontrollable Morio cause more destruction and death, increasing their numbers. To resist these ghosts, humans established an organization to combat and maintain peace using the Jizan. Creatures that feed on negative energy, willingly become demons, and eradicate the Morio. In the present era, a battle between the leaders has ended with the defeat of the Taihido leader, the cause of chaos and all tyrants. However, the heroic warriors still want to fight more and on a larger scale. We see Oki standing, watching the Locust army that forced the soldiers to retreat. He decides he must act before the Morio occupy their land. Rashikujo, one of the great elders, appears and asks him, "What are you planning to do alone?" Oki replies, "I can't just sit and watch the world end like this." She says, "That's why the rest of the great elders chose you to be the 6th Hunter Squad," and gives him the squad leader badge, telling him to prove they deserve it. Meanwhile, there's a girl playing music, surrounded by people enjoying her performance. Suddenly, she stops and says, "A breeze has disturbed the harmony of my tune," then asks, "Oki, are you a soldier who fled from battle?" She introduces herself, "I'm Shankyu, glad to see you, Commander." They head together to the forest, where the air is heavily polluted. Shankyu asks in surprise, "Is it really here?" Oki replies, "It should be," and suddenly, they see the polluted atmosphere moving in one direction. Ahead of them, they find a small girl absorbing the air into herself, and her hand turns into a demon's hand. Feeling pain, she swallows a pill that returns her hand to normal. Amidst Oki and Shankyu's shock, Rashikujo appears and tells them not to underestimate her. She's Shuri, and despite her young age, she's a Jizan who eats polluted air and erases Morio with her demonic hand. Not only are her skills advanced, but the 6th Squad also gained the Elder's attention because of her. Shankyu asks, "Then why did you disband the 6th Squad in the first place?" Rashikujo refuses to give details, saying the incident was too tragic. Shuri gets upset upon hearing this. Rashikujo continues, "There's still one more person left, and he too was a member of the 6th Squad. The mission details are on the way to you." Meanwhile, a boy is being kicked out by an old woman saying, "Your cooking is awful." He gets mad at her, and Oki and the others show up, asking, "Are you Tekken?" When he sees the 6th Squad badge with Oki, he denies it. Strangely, a box replies to him, "You're terrible at lying, Tekken," and welcomes Oki, saying Rashikujo told her about him. Tekken is shocked the box had been watching him the whole time. It replies, "You think you can escape the elders?" He responds angrily, "I resigned from the hunters and just want a peaceful life as a cook." When he sees Shuri, he's even more shocked and says something strange, "Please don't kill me." The others are confused, so he tells them she was the cause of the previous injury to the 6th Squad and their deaths. Rashikujo appears and says, "You know a lot about the hunters. Do you think we'll let you go?" She asks him to choose, return to the hunters or die. He decides to return. Oki asks Rashikujo about what Tekken said, but she disappears again without answering. Elsewhere, a war is raging against the remnants of the Taihido. A large man possessed by the Morio appears from the flames. Meanwhile, Tekken sits with Shankyu and Oki, saying, "Shuri is a demonic girl who wiped out the 6th Squad, and not just us, she killed other squads too. She can't possibly be our ally." Shankyu replies, "I don't believe she could do that." Oki responds, "Rashikujo must have a valid reason, and we can't leave her alone, so I'll accept her as a member of my squad." An arrow lands near Oki with a paper attached containing Rashikujo's instructions about a Morio sighting. At the same time, the Emperor's soldiers can't fight the monster, and it breaks through their ranks, leaping at the general. Before it reaches him, Shuri appears and launches the monster away with a powerful punch. The others join in, and Shankyu explains to the general that this isn't just a monster, it's a Morio-possessed being. He decides to leave the matter to them and return to the Empire. The monster rises again. Shuri refuses to cooperate with the rest of the team, wanting to handle it alone. She starts dodging its fast attacks despite its large size. The monster lands a strong blow that sends Shuri flying. Oki rushes to her, pulls out a paper, writes her name on it, and throws it at her just before the monster hits, teleporting her away. Shuri yells at Oki, "Don't interfere. I don't need your help." He sticks a paper on her forehead that says, "Jump," causing her to soar away. The monster charges at Tekken, who runs away quickly but trips over a rock and falls. Out of fear, he uses a scarf to wrap the monster, and Oki writes, "Wait," on a paper and throws it, pinning the monster to the ground. Tekken says, "Finish it off while we've got the chance." Oki replies, "No, we can't. He's a victim of the Morio. If we kill him, the host will die too." Shankyu uses her music technique to draw the Morio out, but the negative emotions are too strong. Oki approaches and grabs him, saying, "Morio possess the hearts of the weak. Who are you?" The man replies, "Just a farmer. The Taihido attacked our village repeatedly. I couldn't take it anymore. No matter how many I killed, they kept coming. I asked the army for help, but no one came. To me, they're all enemies, and I'll kill them all." Oki responds, I understand your feelings. The Taihito killed my family too. After that, the Shijo castle took me in. It was poor, but the ruler was kind. I wasn't the only one, there were many kids like me. We lived together like siblings. But one day, the castle was attacked by soldiers supposedly chasing the Taihito. I hid in a well and watched them kill the ruler and all the children for food and money. I was completely helpless. I abandoned my family and friends. But hating someone won't fix anything. This chaotic world corrupts hearts. To prevent tragedies like this, I'll stop the Morio. What about you? Do you want to die possessed by the Morio without achieving anything? Shankyu finds another opportunity to extract the Morio and starts playing again, successfully removing it. Oki transforms his brush into a sword, writes Earth, and surrounds the area with a barrier. When the Morio tries to escape, Oki pins it with his sword, but it evaporates and turns into a tiger-like monster resembling the original host. They're shocked it copied the farmer's form. Oki rushes at it, but Shuri appears again and stands in front of him, saying, "That one's my prey." She absorbs the polluted air and converts it into power, but the pain is immense. Oki tries to stop her to prevent her from hurting herself, but she yells, "Shut up," and transforms into a demon. Tekken is terrified because this is exactly what happened last time when she wiped out the whole squad. Shuri attacks the Morio, now faster and stronger than before. When the monster loses hope, it throws its hammer at the barrier trying to break it. Oki rushes to stop it from escaping, and Shuri jumps from behind and pierces its body with her fist. Oki quickly bends down and gives her the medicine because she's in pain. She tells him she doesn't want his help. When she returns to normal, he checks on her and she tells him to leave her alone. They find that the farmer is fine, so Oki tells them the Morio possess the darkness in people's hearts, but he originally had good principles, he just didn't know how to apply them properly. The general arrives and checks on the farmer, and the mission ends successfully. Afterward, they grill fish for lunch, and Shuri sits away from them. Oki says she suffered a lot in the fight, so she must be exhausted. Shankyu tells Tekken to stop bothering her because it'll backfire. She says they have to treat her with kindness and care. Then Oki asks, "What are the Jizan?" Tekken answers, "Just monsters," and the box replies, "Rumors say they were created by the great elders to eliminate the Morio, but the topic of the Jizan is extremely secret among the elders." Tekken replies, "That's why I'm telling you she's not human, she's just a monster. You saw how she turned into a demon." Shankyu yells at him because his voice is loud and she doesn't want Shuri to hear, but he doesn't care. He tells them, "We're fighting the Morio, and with us is the scariest Morio of all. I sleep with one eye open." Meanwhile, a general is in the market, and a strange woman wearing a cloak over her head calls out to him. She tells him she senses that dreams of power are swirling in his mind. He asks in surprise, "How did you know?" She laughs and replies, "Keep training, and you'll become the strongest general to lead the army." He likes what she says, and she gives him a sinister-looking sword, telling him, "This sword gives its wielder extraordinary power, but if misused, it will consume your soul." He's impressed and takes it from her, and the sword begins affecting him. The woman laughs wickedly. Elsewhere, Oki brings food to Shuri and she tells him, "I told you to leave me alone. I'm used to being alone." He replies, "Even if you say that, you're hungry," so she takes the food from him. Another arrow from Rashikujo arrives with a new mission. They go to the market and hear rumors that a Morio has possessed someone and is killing people, but no one knows what he looks like. Oki assumes they'll find him quickly given how strong the polluted energy is. Then they notice Shuri is missing, so they start looking for her. Shuri is at a vendor, looking at pretty hairpins. Oki asks her, "Do you want one of these?" She's surprised, and Shankyu insists and encourages her to pick one. Still, she says she doesn't want any and walks away. Suddenly, she feels pain in her chest and sees the general with the cursed sword in a dark alley. He runs away when he sees her. Oki and the others arrive, and she doesn't tell them what she saw. That night, they stay at a hotel after giving up on finding the Morio. The box tells them he might have allowed the Morio to possess him and is sharing control of his body. In that case, he can hide himself so no one detects him. Everyone is shocked that this is even possible. As they leave, Shankyu stays behind and tells Shuri, "Trusting people is hard, and if you reject every little help, you'll end up truly alone." Shuri replies, "I'm used to being alone, everyone's afraid of me anyway." Shankyu says, "Oki is different, he seems to genuinely care about you." Shuri responds, "Leave me alone," and Shankyu tells her, "That's not something friends do." Still, Shuri says, "I don't want friends. I'm a Jizan. I exist only to defeat and devour Morio. If you get close to me, you'll be cursed." Meanwhile, the general is in town, killing innocent people just for fun. The next day, Oki and the others find the body of the person the general killed, but they still don't sense any polluted energy around. That night, they continue searching, and Shuri feels the presence of the general and sees his shadow. She leaves without them noticing and goes to chase him. When Oki realizes, they go looking for Shuri. At the same time, she has reached the general, who tells her, facing me alone is a big mistake, and quickly turns into a demon. Shuri absorbs his negative energy and turns her hand into a demon's. He attacks her, but she dodges swiftly and strikes back, but he blocks her attack. The general feels excitement after the boredom he felt from killing ordinary citizens. Shuri gets pushed to the wall, and as the general charges, she jumps and lands on his sword, breaking it. Unexpectedly, his power increases, and he creates 2 new swords. Shuri absorbs more negative energy to boost her strength. Meanwhile, Oki sees the polluted air from afar and locates them. The general takes control of the fight, so Shuri absorbs even more energy until she becomes a demon like him. She grabs his 2 swords and crushes them with her hand. Suddenly, he evolves further and gains 4 arms with 4 swords. Shuri jumps into the air to get away from him. He quickly leaps after her and slashes her with a sword. Oki throws his sword on the ground and creates a barrier around the area. The woman who gave the sword to the general is watching and becomes annoyed with Oki. The general gets angry at Oki, and Shuri tries to stop Oki from interfering as usual. But he refuses and tells her, "I'll make you an opening. Then it'll be your turn." The general attacks Oki with full force, so Oki creates a barrier and tries to hold him off. The general unleashes fast, powerful strikes one after another, and Oki struggles to endure. The general tells him, "I have immense power. The Morio and I will build a castle and rule the central plains with an iron fist." One of his strikes hits Oki, worrying Shuri. The general continues his flurry of attacks. Oki tells Shuri, "Don't worry, I won't collapse, and I won't leave you alone no matter what." He tries to attack the general, but the general knocks him away. Still, Oki doesn't give up, and his barrier is about to break. Shankyu arrives just in time and plays a tune that weakens the general. The evil woman realizes it's not just the Jizan she needs to worry about. Shankyu plays the purification melody, and Tekken throws his scarf, binding the general. Oki notices the Morio is inside the sword, so he tells Tekken to throw his bomb at the general's leg. He tells Shankyu to release the binding when he gives the signal. Then it's Shuri's turn, and she uses her demon power to break the general's sword. The Morio emerges, and Shuri absorbs it and takes her medicine. The general gets up after returning to normal, furious that they took away the power he was going to use to rule the country. Oki tells him, "Because of scum like you, wars never end. You try to solve everything with military strength, and one day, that strength will consume you." The general leaves. Tekken asks Oki, "We're just going to let him go?" Oki replies, "Yeah, our mission is only to eliminate the Morio. In the end, he'll probably get what he deserves without us staining our hands." Then he says, "More importantly, I'm worried about Shuri," and asks her not to act recklessly again. This time, she thanks him for saving her. Oki notices the woman who was watching them as she walks away. The next day, Oki and the others are on their way to an area with a Morio, and Tekken sees smoke rising from a nearby village, so Oki tells them, "Let's go check it out." When they arrive, they find signs of war and dead bodies, and Shuri is shocked by the scene. Oki tells her, "No need to look. Leave this to us." Shankyu notices some villagers are still alive, and Shuri regains her strength so she won't appear weak and goes with them. Oki notices the woman from the general's day is still watching them. They then go to the surviving villagers, who tell them that a few days ago bandits came and started attacking them. Their leader is a man on a horse with a white mark on his face, and without mercy, he killed all the young men who stood in his way. Suddenly, the bandits return and kill more villagers. Their leader is possessed by a Morio. Oki transforms his brush into a sword and rushes at him. The bandit leader tries to strike him, but Oki jumps, and before he can cut him, he notices that it's the horse that's possessed, not the leader. The box tells them the horse gains more power by controlling its rider. Shankyu plays a calming melody that puts the rest of the bandits to sleep. Shuri starts absorbing the cursed energy and turns into a demon from the beginning, but when she sees the corpses, she gets shaken, and her body trembles. The leader rides off and kills more villagers. Shuri remembers her past and gets extremely angry, absorbing even more negative energy until she loses control and transforms into another form of demon. She starts attacking everyone around her, ally or enemy, not knowing who's with her and who's not. The leader flees, and Shuri chases him. Oki runs after them to not leave Shuri alone. Shuri keeps absorbing negative energy until she starts bleeding. Oki writes a paper and throws it at Shuri, teleporting her in front of him. He grabs her and says, "That's enough. Come back to your senses. If you defeat him like this, your body won't endure it." She pounces on him and knocks him to the ground, so he quickly throws his sword on the ground and creates an anti-negative energy barrier with magic. The leader takes the chance and escapes. Shankyu plays a soothing melody that makes Shuri lose consciousness, and then she feeds her the medicine to return her to normal. Rashakujo appears and tells them this rage was caused by her losing control. Shuri gains power in exchange for pain, and to keep her from losing control, her mental strength and the pills help maintain her balance. Oki replies angrily, "She's always suffering and in pain. What kind of balance are you talking about?" Shankyu calms him and asks Rashakujo, "So the reason she lost control was because she absorbed more atmosphere than the pills can counteract?" Rashakujo replies, or because something happened that made her lose her mind. Oki remembers she was trembling since they arrived at the village. Rashakujo tells them, even though she's a Jizan, she's still a child, mental breakdowns aren't surprising, and what happened might be connected to her past or an old trauma. Shuri actually died once before, and what's left are faint memories from before becoming a Jizan. Everyone is shocked, including Tekken, who was part of the previous squad with her. Rashakujo tells him the previous squad disbanded before she even told him. They ask her to explain more, and she tells them that Shuri was just a girl from an ordinary village, lived a peaceful life with her family. But one day, bandits attacked her village, just like what happened to Oki. The villagers ran toward the bridge that leads out of the village, but to their surprise, they found it destroyed. Shuri's father threw her into the river before the bandits killed them. Rashakujo found her then, and there was a Morio clinging to her because of her fear of death. It was only a matter of time before it killed her too, and the only solution was to kill her along with the Morio. Before she could do it, Shuri grabbed Rashakujo's clothes and said, "I want to live." Her will to live expelled the Morio, but it was too late. She had already died. Strangely, Rashakujo saw her soul hovering over her body, and her desire to live wouldn't let her spirit leave. That's why Rashakujo turned her into a Jizan. Shankyu tells them Shuri said she's a demon that eats Morio and not human, and anyone who gets close to her will be cursed. Oki gets upset and asks Rashakujo, does Shuri have to spend the rest of her life eating Morio? She replies, opposing the flow of life is forbidden, even for the great elders, the price must be paid. Shuri is unique, the only one who became a Jizan while her human soul remained intact. That's why she has exceptional power against the Morio. If you're afraid of her rage, leave the squad now. In hard times, we don't need cowards. Oki replies angrily, we're friends, we won't leave Shuri and walk away. The reason I joined the hunters was so no one else would suffer like we did, and anyone who abandons their friends can never achieve that dream, will never give up. Rashakujo is impressed by him and tells him, as I said, there's no way to exempt Shuri from absorbing the atmosphere, but I didn't say there's no way to ease her pain and rage, but the spell won't be cast on Shuri, it will be cast on the one who has the will and is ready to risk their life to save her. Oki replies, I'm ready. She tells him, don't regret this later, and creates a glowing bird like the one she put in Shuri when she turned her into a Jizan. That night, Shuri wakes up in a panic and asks Oki, what happened to the bandits? He tells her their leader escaped. Tekken asks her, that's what matters to you after losing control and almost killing us? Shuri feels bad for what she did again. Oki comforts her and says, we're fine. She replies sadly, in the end, you'll all die by my hands. Oki tells her, don't worry, we'll find a way, trust me. Suddenly, the bandit leader returns, and Shuri is afraid she'll transform again like last time. They're shocked that the leader evolved again like the general. Shuri remembers her past again and moves on her own. She absorbs the polluted atmosphere and turns into a demon, but she starts bleeding again and falls to the ground. She gets back up, changes form, and rages more, slamming the leader into the wall. Oki stands in front of her and says, like I told you, I won't abandon my friends. All your feelings of regret, fear, and anxiety, I'll deal with them. He uses his brush, and a chain comes out connecting to Shuri's heart, bringing her back to consciousness in her original demon form. She's surprised by what happened and looks at Oki, who's in pain. She asks him, are you absorbing the atmosphere from me? Oki replies, I won't let you carry the burden alone. You said we'd die if we got close to you, but we're friends, we'll all heal your sorrows. Suddenly, the monster jumps at Oki, but he blocks it with a barrier. Shuri charges her energy and defeats the monster with one blow. Oki loses consciousness, and Shuri gets very worried about him. Shankyu uses the purification melody on him, and he wakes up again. He tells Shuri, you're not alone, trust me. Shuri is happy and thanks him. The next day, Oki and the others are in a village, and Shankyu asks him, are you okay? Absorbing the atmosphere was really reckless. He replies, yeah, I feel much better, and nothing compares to what Shuri does. She advises him to rest more, and he says, alright, I'll go rest at the inn. Shuri grabs onto him, and Shankyu is happy that she's starting to show her gentle side. When she gets close to her, Shuri moves away and hides behind Oki. After that, Tekken says he's hungry, so Rashakujo appears and invites them to eat at a fancy restaurant. Shankyu asks her, you're here for another reason, right? Rashakujo replies, yeah, we received a report that a woman with her head covered is behind everything happening. I suspected her and chased her, but she realized it and vanished. But somehow, I managed to track her down. Go to the capital in the southern part of the central plain. At the same time, in the capital, one of the generals angrily asks his brother, why are you refusing to become the city's ruler? His brother replies, I don't want power or rank. Another general says, that's because of the people. Our country is being targeted by those who want the world to remain in chaos. The current city ruler is asking for help from the entire world, but against the military genius with an army of 1 million, no help came. But you, the 3 brothers of the Peach Garden, took a step forward. No one but you can lead the country, and that's what the people hoped for. Still, he hesitates and says his brother should accept the position. Their third brother shouts, shut up. You don't understand what our brother is feeling. He replies angrily, yeah, I don't understand, and I won't, then walks away. Meanwhile, Oki and the others arrive in the capital and split up to search for the woman faster. Oki goes with Shuri, and Tekken with Shankyu. Shuri bumps into one of the Peach brothers, who's looking for the brother who stormed off. Shuri apologizes, and he asks, "Have you seen a large man carrying a spear?" Shankyu asks, "Your younger brother?" He replies, "He always heads towards trouble and brings problems for us." Shankyu tells him, "But you care about him deeply, it shows on your face. I understand how you feel because I also have a younger brother." At the same time, the younger brother is in a cafe, feeling upset about his brothers and their way of thinking. The woman appears and tells him, "I've heard some rumors about your older brother, and I think that if you don't fulfill the oath you swore in the Peach Garden, you'll feel regret and sorrow if he dies." He gets angry and tells her, "I'll protect him no matter what." She goes along with him and puts something in the drink he's having. Meanwhile, Shankyu offers to help the general search for his brother. Suddenly, an explosion occurs, and the younger brother exits the nearby cafe, with polluted smoke coming from his mouth. Shankyu yells at his brother and warns him not to come closer. The younger brother rushes at him, and the general blocks the strike, not understanding how his brother could do that. Then his body transforms into a monster. Shankyu explains to the general that a Morio has possessed him, but he doesn't even know what a Morio is. The general keeps blocking the monster's attacks, and Oki steps in and uses his barrier to stop him. Right away, Shankyu plays the purification melody. The monster gets angrier, and the brother says, "Why don't you understand how our brother feels about our duty? Did you forget our oath in the Peach Garden? Our brother uses his mind instead of strength, and we chose to follow him. Don't let the Morio deceive you." Suddenly, the Morio's face appears on his stomach and says, "This person is mine, so it's hopeless." Shuri rushes at him, the face vanishes, and her strike hits the general's body. Shankyu tells them, "That means the tumor has merged with the general's body. If we attack recklessly, we'll just hurt him." The woman appears and says, "Exactly. If you defeat the Morio, the man will die with it, and if you forcefully separate it from him, the same thing will happen." The general gets angry and attacks the monster, but the monster matches him in strength. The tumor laughs because the general can't hurt his brother, but it can attack freely. Suddenly, the younger brother speaks and says, "Please kill me," and tears fall from his eyes. The woman gets annoyed that the fusion isn't complete. The younger brother tries to pull it out of himself, still begging his older brother to kill him so he won't be a burden. Shankyu gets upset and says, "Don't say that death is the solution. You want your brother to carry the burden of killing you?" She whistles and tells the Morio, "Withdraw for now and return when you've taken full control of his consciousness." She takes him and leaves. After that, Oki and the others explain to the general about the Morio and that unless they remove the tumor from his brother's body, they won't be able to defeat it. The box tells them there's a chance it's stuck inside him like a parasite. He asks, "Isn't there a way to save my brother?" He tells them, "We came to this land to save it and end this chaotic world. Is there really no solution other than killing my brother?" Shankyu gets angry again and tells him, "Don't say such nonsense. You're supposed to do everything possible to save him. What would you accomplish in your duty by killing your brother?" She grabs his clothes and says, "If you can't save your brother, you won't be able to save a country." She tells him her younger brother is currently dying from an incurable disease, and the doctors gave up on him, yet she didn't give up and believed she'd find a cure. She went on a journey to search for a cure for her brother and found nothing, yet she kept trying. Time passed, and she ran out of money without even finding a single lead. That's when Rashikujo appeared and said the only medicine that could save him was with them, but they wouldn't give it to her unless she completed a mission, which was to eliminate the Morio. That's why she joined the hunters. She fell into despair many times, and everyone around her advised her to stop trying, but she still refuses to accept that her brother will die. The general replies, "You're right. I was careless in my thinking. I'm sorry." She tells the others, "There's no other way but to remove the tumor. I'll direct a powerful purification melody at him, and the moment he regains even a bit of consciousness, we'll do just like we did in our first mission." The box asks, "But cutting the tumor will require extreme precision," and the general replies, "I'll be able to cut it myself." That night, the monster breaks through the wall of the commander's building, with the woman. They find Oki and the others inside, and they tell her the commanders aren't there. She replies, "You think you set a trap for me? I'm the one running things here. Actually, I came to get rid of you all in the first place." Oki gives the signal to Shuri, and she absorbs the negative energy. Oki binds her with the control chain so she doesn't lose control. Shuri charges quickly, and Oki tries to endure the negative energy. Shankyu plays the purification melody, and the general tries to encourage his brother to resist the Morio. The woman responds, "You're naive," and pulls out a drink containing Morio liquid mixed with polluted atmosphere. She throws it to the monster, and when he drinks it, he loses more consciousness and grows stronger. Tekken throws a knife that breaks the bottle, but it's too late. The Morio has already taken full control of his mind. Suddenly, their third brother appears, and the woman sends her hawk after him to stop him from interfering. Shuri saves him and moves him away. He speaks to his transformed brother and says, "Get a grip. You're my little brother. Remember our duty and our oath. No Morio can break our resolve." Tears fall from the younger brother's eyes, and he starts to regain his senses. Shankyu quickly seizes the opportunity and plays the purification melody. Then the general cuts the tumor with his spear, and Shuri grabs and destroys it. Tekken stands in front of the woman so she can't escape. She sends her bird at him, but Oki cuts it. Still, she vanishes. Afterward, the three brothers hug, thank Oki and the others, especially the eldest brother, who thanks Shankyu and tells her, "I'll do my duty as the eldest brother even better." At night, Tekken has a nightmare while sleeping about the day Shuri lost control and killed the 6th squad. Tekken had been unconscious, and when he woke up, he saw her attacking one of the squad members. He ran quickly, but the guilt of abandoning the others haunts him. He wakes up in a panic, and Oki notices the nightmare issue. The next day, they all prepare breakfast, and Shuri gives Tekken his plate. He's in a really bad mood and tells her angrily, "I don't want anything, especially after it was touched by someone who killed allies," then walks out. He thinks about what happened in the past and asks himself, "When will I forget these events? It's all her fault, not mine." Suddenly, he hears a voice say, "Looks like you're in a bad mood." When he looks, he's shocked to see the 6th squad leader who died, along with Ka and Hanryo, his teammates. He asks in disbelief, "You're okay? How?" Ka replies, "We were healed and we're ready to hunt Morio again." He falls to his knees and says, "I'm so happy. I thought I'd never see your faces again." The leader asks him, "Will you fight with us again?" Tekken replies, "I don't deserve to. I ran away and left you. The incident never leaves my thoughts, and I'm always sad and suffering because of it. I hope you can forgive me." They all laugh and forgive him, easing his guilt. Then the leader says, "I have a favor to ask." Tekken replies joyfully, "Of course, I'll do anything for you." Ka whispers in his ear, "Can you kill Shuri for us?" Tekken asks in confusion, "What do you mean by kill?" She replies, "We want you to kill Shuri because we want to be hunters again. But we can't do that with Shuri's image stuck in our minds." The leader tells him, "You said the incident made you suffer a lot, so you understand us." Tekken hesitates and says, "No way." Ka replies, "You can do it because you've betrayed a friend before. When I was screaming, 'Help me,' you abandoned me and ran. You always do whatever it takes to save yourself." He replies fearfully, "That was a mistake, but killing, that's impossible." Hanryo places a knife to his neck, and Ka says, "Then just die too. You thought we only hated Shuri?" Hanryo continues, "I'll never forgive you, you worthless coward." The leader says, "You definitely haven't forgotten her true nature." Tekken says to himself, "A Jizan who kills her allies." They keep convincing him, saying they're helping him before she kills him, placing him in a difficult choice. Meanwhile, Shuri is very upset about Tekken. Oki tells her, he probably just needs some time alone, he'll be okay. That night, Tekken prepares dinner, and everyone is surprised. The first to taste it is Shuri, and he apologizes to her for what he did that morning. The others decide to try it too, even though they know Tekken's cooking is usually terrible. Tekken stands feeling guilty, remembering how the leader gave him a strong poison that causes certain death, even for a Jizan. Suddenly, Shankyu tells him the food tastes great, and everyone praises it, surprised that he made good food, unlike his usual self. Shuri brings the spoon closer and closer to her mouth, increasing Tekken's anxiety. He quickly stops her, trying to cover up, saying, "I didn't use enough ingredients," and rushes out of the inn, thinking he betrayed his old squad by not poisoning Shuri and betrayed his new squad by putting the poison in. Now, he has no place to belong. Suddenly, the fog thickens around him, and Ka appears, very angry, asking, "Where do you think you're going?" The others appear and ask, "Are you going to betray us again?" Tekken gets scared and begs the leader for forgiveness. The leader binds him with a chain and orders him to bring Shuri to them. Tekken lures the new 6th squad to a foggy area, telling them a Morio appeared there. Shankyu senses that Tekken has been acting strange since yesterday. Oki replies, "Don't worry, it's just Tekken being Tekken." He tells Tekken, "Don't worry about anything, we're friends. From what I see, you're the only one who can forgive yourself. The burden you carry might never go away, but you can share it with us, that's why we're here." When they reach the place, everyone is surprised. Suddenly, the old 6th squad appears, and Shuri is shocked. The box tells Oki that the previous 6th squad members were left disabled because of Shuri. Suddenly, the leader attacks Shuri, and Hanryo throws a knife at her. Oki saves her just in time, and they all transform into demons. They realize the Morio have possessed them. All at once, they say to Shuri, "We hate you," shocking Tekken, who didn't know they were Morio. Oki protects Shuri from them. Shankyu plays the purification melody and creates a barrier that blocks Morio attacks. Shuri absorbs the polluted atmosphere and charges at Hanryo but freezes when they ask, "Are you going to kill us again?" Hanryo pretends to be in pain, so Shuri lets go, and he laughs and strikes her. Hanryo throws his staff into Oki's leg, and before Shankyu can play the healing melody, Ka plays a toon that paralyzes her and hits her with the musical instrument. The old squad leader ties Shuri to a pillar. Tekken kneels in regret for putting his friends in this situation. The ground under Shuri opens, revealing bamboo sticks with gunpowder inside and oil jars around. If they explode, they'll obliterate Shuri. The leader tells Tekken, "You're the one who will light it. Prove you deserve to be one of us. Kill her with your own hands so we can forgive you." Tekken weakens and gives in to the pressure, but when he sees Shuri's frightened eyes, he hesitates. Still, he lights the fuse that will trigger the explosion and feels deep guilt. Suddenly, he realizes he's the one killing his allies. Before the fuse reaches the gunpowder, he stops the fire with his hand. They accuse him of betrayal, and he replies, "Yeah, I'm a traitor, but if I kill Shuri, I'll just repeat it all again." He throws grenades at them and tries to free Shuri. Shuri absorbs the tainted atmosphere and transforms into a demon. Tekken lights a bomb and blows it up on them, but it doesn't affect them. Shuri charges at them and breaks their weapons. Unexpectedly, the broken weapons merge into one massive weapon. Shuri jumps at them, but it's too late. They fire a massive cannonball at her. Oki binds her with the chain and pulls her back just before she's hit. The Morio fire another shell at them. Tekken uses the fortress tool, and Shankyu plays the fortress melody to block the powerful strike. Shuri uses the opportunity to leap and launch her demon hands at them, finishing the fight. The next day, the box tells them the elders will deal with the former 6th Squad members themselves. Shuri hands Tekken his food plate, afraid of his reaction, but this time, he takes it from her. The next night, they fight the angry spirits of the commander's soldiers, including a tree infected by a Morio that tells them, "This capital belongs to our commander and we won't surrender it to anyone." Between the tree's branches are 2 important hostages, and one of the ghosts devours one of them. Shuri charges at the tree, and the ghosts attack her. Shuri gets furious and absorbs more polluted atmosphere. Oki tries to absorb it from her so she doesn't lose control, but unfortunately, the amount is too much for him. He bleeds and loses consciousness. When she sees Oki, Shuri gets even angrier, breaks the chain, and attacks the tree with all her power, cutting it down. Worse, she kills the host too and loses consciousness. Afterward, Shankyu takes them somewhere and plays a healing melody. Oki feels intense pain in his body, but he doesn't care about himself and asks her about Shuri, who is unconscious in front of him and still in her demon form. The second hostage, whose name is Fusho, enters and says she's a traveling healer and wants to thank them for saving her. They're all surprised that she knows about the Jizan. When Fusho looks at her, she says, "That's the curse of the heart," and starts placing sealing papers from her master on Shuri, absorbing the tainted atmosphere from her until it evaporates. With the last paper, Shuri returns to her normal state, and Fusho tells them to let her rest. She'll wake up with time. After that, Oki asks her, "What's this curse of the heart you mentioned earlier?" She replies, "It's related to a forbidden technique that controls the dead." Oki remembers when Rashikujo told them that Shuri died once before. Fusho continues, "I'm not sure, but it's done using many special spells, and a fake heart is placed in the corpse instead of the original one, and in exchange for moving again, they must live by absorbing polluted atmosphere." Shankyu says, "That's exactly what Rashikujo said." Fusho continues, "From absorbing so much atmosphere, the heart changes and is no longer human, it becomes a Morio heart, and this isn't something simple like possession. The body and soul stay alive even after transforming into a Morio." Everyone is shocked that Shuri is technically a Morio, and Fusho adds, "That's why creating the curse of the heart is forbidden." After that, Oki goes outside, and Rashikujo appears, telling him, "You performed your mission well." Before she can continue, Oki asks, "What is the curse of the heart? And if Shuri keeps absorbing atmosphere, will she turn into a Morio?" She replies, "Yes." Oki gets angry and asks, "Why didn't you tell us something that important?" She replies, "Because you didn't need to know that." He responds angrily, "She's our friend." She tells him, "You misunderstand. Jizan are weapons to support the hunters, because to defeat the Morio, you need someone who can absorb the atmosphere, and that's why the elders created the Jizan." He responds angrily, "But eventually they'll become Morio." She says, "Only if they have the curse of the heart, and the only Jizan with that curse is Shuri." Meanwhile, Shuri wakes up and wonders why she's in this place. Tekken tells her she lost control again. Shankyu walks out and tells Oki that Shuri is awake. Fusho sits with her and tells her the cause of her rage is the curse of her heart and explains everything just as she did with the others. At the same time, Rashikujo continues, "That girl died once before, and without the curse of the heart, I wouldn't have been able to save her. Remember when I told you, going against the flow of life is forbidden even for the elders, and Shuri had to pay the price? If you want to stop her transformation into a Morio, you'll have to remove her cursed heart, and maybe that's a good thing. If you notice signs of her turning into a Morio, you can kill her immediately." Oki replies angrily, "There's no way we'll do that." She opens a portal and tells him, defeating the Morio is the hunter's mission, then walks away. That night, Oki is sitting alone, and Shuri joins him and sits beside him. Suddenly, she says, "I wish I had died. The host died because of me." He replies, "No, it wasn't your fault. It was because I was weak." She replies, "No, it was because of me and the curse of the heart." She remembers when Fusho told her, "If you remove the curse of the heart, you'll die, and if you stay like this, you'll kill everything dear to you." She tells Oki, if I lose control again and try to kill you, kill me. Oki is upset by her words. She tells him, I don't want to hurt you. If it happens again, I won't be able to take it. I don't want what happened with the old 6th squad to happen again. I don't want to hurt anyone or be hated, and even though I want to die, I also want to live. Like someone is screaming in my mind, live, and I don't know why. Oki puts his hand on her shoulder and tells her, you have the right to live, and I'm with you, don't worry. At the same time, Tekken tells Shankyu, it's dangerous for us to stay around Shuri. She's upset by his words, and the box asks him, after the previous 6th squad incident, you still didn't realize Shuri's value? He replies, true, but the situation has changed. If this continues, Shuri will eventually become a Morio. Shankyu replies, Oki would never abandon her. He tells her, even the bond chain couldn't stop her this time, and when she becomes a Morio, who will stop her? Are you okay with dying before treating your brother? Shankyu doesn't know how to answer. The next day, Fusho says goodbye, and before leaving, she tells them, about yesterday's matter, there might be a solution to the curse of the heart with my master, Ryujin. They're surprised, and Oki asks her, where is he? She replies, I haven't seen him in a while, but he resides deep in the mountains. I know the way. Oki asks her to show them, and they'll take care of the rest. They head into the depths of the mountains, following the map Fusho gave them. On the way, they receive a message from the elders about the presence of a Morio. Oki grabs it and throws it off the mountain, deciding to deal with the curse of the heart first. Shankyu is surprised he's going against the elders. He tells her, our emotions are scattered right now, and without trust in each other, we won't be able to fight the Morio. They tell him, but the elders won't let this go. He replies, Rashikujo didn't even tell us about the curse of the heart, and this concerns our friend's life. All she cares about is defeating the Morio, but we're not tools. When they reach Master Ryujin's house, they go inside and find him sitting there. Oki speaks to him, but he doesn't respond. When Oki touches him, he vanishes. The cloaked woman appears again. Shankyu asks her, did you kill Master Ryujin? She replies, I don't have to answer you. Suddenly, a massive Morio appears in the form of half monkey, half snake. Shankyu tells them, if its origin isn't human, our powers won't work on it. Oki tries to form a barrier around the place, but the monster breaks it easily. Shuri charges at it, but it slams her into the wall. Shankyu tries a calming melody, but it has no effect. The woman tells them, this monster is real and made from raw atmosphere, you are no match for it. The snake grabs Shuri, so Oki quickly binds her with the chain, but she breaks it and tells him, if you take in this atmosphere, you'll die. The snake throws her away, and she transforms into a demon, scaring everyone. The monkey shoots spikes at Tekken, but Shuri quickly saves him, and he's surprised that she's still in control. Shuri quickly jumps on the monkey and strikes its eye. It grabs her in anger and throws her, but Oki catches her. Shuri returns to normal and loses consciousness. The monkey attacks them, so Oki creates a shield that blocks the hit. Shuri wakes up, and Oki tells her, run quickly before the shield breaks, but she refuses to leave him alone. He tells her, live, and at that moment, she remembers it's the same word her father said before throwing her into the river. The shield breaks, and Shuri grabs him and jumps off the cliff. The woman rides the monster and tells it to chase them because she wants Shuri's body. Shankyu and Tekken go looking for them, following the river path until they find them. Tekken still can't understand why Shuri saved him. Meanwhile, Oki and Shuri are on the riverbank, and Shuri wakes up first. She gets very worried about Oki, but he wakes up, and she asks him, why did you do that? You could have run and left me, it would have been easier. He replies, I told you, I'll never abandon my friends. She says, but you don't know when I might rage again and hurt you. He tells her, don't worry about anything as long as I'm around. The monster and the woman arrive at their location, and Oki's leg is injured. The woman says to Shuri, come with me quietly, and I'll spare the man with you. Oki asks her, what are you planning to do? She responds, shut up, you, I'm talking to her. He tells her, I'll never hand Shuri over to you. She orders the monster to attack, and Oki quickly writes a paper and traps the monster in a barrier. He grabs Shuri and escapes. The monster breaks the barrier and chases them. When it reaches them, it slashes with its claws, but they're just shadow clones, and papers appear in their place. The woman gets furious. Meanwhile, Shuri and Oki find a cave to rest in because of Oki's leg injury. Oki pulls out his papers and finds they're nearly gone. Shuri tells him, your ability to use those techniques is amazing. He says, it has to do with letters, but it's not strong enough to defeat Morio like you. Shuri says, I want to learn how to write someday. I don't even know how to write my name. He decides to teach her how to write her name and all their names. She replies sadly, that's if I even live. He reassures her that he won't abandon her and won't rest until he saves her. She tells him, I always wanted to die so I wouldn't hurt anyone or make anyone suffer because of me. I almost killed you, and you're still trying to protect me from the Morio chasing me. It's too much. He silences the noise in her head and says, I wish you a happy life. She tells him, I thought my mom and dad were the ones who protected me, but even so, it would have been better if I died with them, because if I live, someone else always pays the price. My mom and dad died, and this time it could be you, and I don't want that to happen. Suddenly, the monster and the woman appear again. She tells them she tracked the polluted energy the snake gave to Shuri. Oki writes a paper and throws it on the ground, causing plants to grow and restrain the monster. He grabs Shuri and escapes again. Meanwhile, Tekken and Shankyu find Oki and Shuri's footprints on the riverbank. Then the box sees the monster's footprints. Shankyu tells him, if we follow their tracks, it'll be too late. Tekken thinks and asks the box to summon Rashikujo. The box replies, we ignored their message, they won't help. He yells at her, and she does what he says. When Rashikujo appears, she says, you're very bold. Do you think this will pass without punishment? Tekken asks her for help. She gets angry and says, you're not in a position to ask me for anything. I'll punish all members of the 6th squad. Tekken drops to his knees and tells her, you're right, do it, but I'm begging you. Shankyu kneels too. She says, you think begging will convince me? Tekken replies, do whatever you want to us after you save them. Still, she refuses. Tekken tells her, if you save them, I'll dedicate my life to the hunters. She's surprised that the one who always runs away is saying that. He promises her he'll never run again. She mocks him and asks, you think this is a deal? He replies, you once said after serving the hunters, you'd grant me a wish. She says, yeah, I'd give you the money to open your restaurant. He replies, I don't want that. Save Oki and Shuri instead of granting that wish. Meanwhile, the monster finds Oki and Shuri again. Oki writes his last paper, creating a wall of fire that burns the monster. He tells Shuri, you run first, I'll stall him. She says, no, I'll distract him. You use the chance. He replies, let me protect you like I promised, and draws his sword. Suddenly, Rashikujo's hawk appears, along with Tekken and Shankyu. Tekken throws his bombs at the monster and takes Oki and Shuri to a cave far from the area. Shankyu treats Oki's leg. Tekken thanks Shuri for saving his life. She tells him, you saved mine too, so we're even. After that, Tekken tells them, we have to run now. Shuri replies, no way, he can smell the polluted energy in me. Tekken says, I figured that, so I mixed some pepper into my bombs. His nose should be out of order for a while. Shankyu says, but that trick won't last long. Oki says, we'll try to escape, and if we can't, we'll fight. Tekken says, I've got an idea. Elsewhere, the woman and the monster find thick fog. The monster attacks Oki and Shuri's clones, but they're just rocks. The woman looks around and sees many clones. She tells the monster, no point in attacking, these are just copies, follow the girl's energy. Suddenly, the monster attacks one copy with energy nearby, but it's still a clone. The real Shuri appears and wraps the monster with the bond chain. She and Oki pull the chain and strangle it. Tekken throws a bomb that burns the monster. Shankyu plays a shielding melody for them. Tekken fires spears that pierce the monster and explode. Oki and Shuri pull harder and finish it off. The woman escapes quickly, but Oki stops Shuri from chasing her and says, what matters is we're more united than before. He thanks them all for saving them. At sunset, they search for any solution to the curse of the heart but find nothing. Fusho appears and says, I got curious and followed you. Oki apologizes to her for what happened to Master Ryujin. She replies, just by looking around, I understood what happened. It's really sad what happened to my master. I owed him so much, and I was sure he knew something about the curse of the heart. She asks to join them in the search for other clues. Oki gladly agrees. The next day, they go to a village suffering from a very dangerous plague that infected the residents, and even Fusho's healing magic didn't work on it. Shankyu tells them this illness is similar to her brother's. When the red spots appear on the skin, a fever starts, and they weaken quickly, dying within 3 days at most. Oki asks her, but your brother is still alive? She replies, yes, my development skills slowed the disease's progress, but like I said, the elder's medicine is the only cure. Shuri runs over to them and says she found a paper with a strange symbol. Fusho picks it up and says, that's the Phoenix Clan symbol. Supposedly it cures this plague. Tekken tells her, well, it clearly doesn't work. She replies, no, our leader Hoko has exceptional skills. There are rumors she created a cure for this plague, but I also heard it's only available to her followers, and if you remember, we saw them on our way here. Shankyu asks her, where's leader Hoko? Tekken says, wait for orders from the elders first so nothing bad happens. Don't forget what happened last time. Oki tells them, I understand Shankyu's feelings. Last time, we all helped Shuri, now it's Shankyu's turn. Tekken says, I get that, but if we upset the elders again, who knows what'll happen. Then he notices how overly focused he is on pleasing the elders, even though Rashikujo makes them risk their lives to fight the Morio, and she should have given Shankyu the cure as a form of gratitude. The box replies, that won't work because the medicine isn't complete yet. Then she realizes she said something she shouldn't have. Shankyu asks her, what do you mean? The box tries to avoid the answer, and Shankyu figures out the elders deceived her. Tekken tries to get her to say the truth clearly, and she tells them the cure exists but hasn't been tested, and they still don't know if it works. Oki responds angrily, summon Rashikujo now. When she arrives, she tells them the elder's cure still isn't fully effective. Some people were cured by it, and some weren't. Oki asks her angrily, "Why didn't you say something like this?" She replies, "You wanted me to say it plainly. There's a chance your brother will never be cured. The elders can't cure the disease. Hope is lost." Tekken says, "So you just wanted to use Shankyu?" The box replies, "That's not true. Lady Rashakujo kept working on improving the cure for her brother. The elders don't even get involved in human affairs. That's why they're making a cure without a real cure in the first place." Tekken asks, "Do you even care if humans live or die?" Rashakujo says, "The elder's role is more than just watching, but just like the Morio, when something causes chaos, we eliminate it immediately." Oki asks her, "So you're working on improving the medicine for Shankyu?" She replies, "I'm forced to answer you." Shankyu asks, "How effective is the medicine now?" She replies, "So far, 60%. Tekken replies, "That's like a 50 to 50 chance. When will it be fully ready?" She tells him, "I still need more time." Shankyu replies angrily, "It might be too late. My brother's fading day by day. I'm sorry, but I'm going to search for the cure myself." Rashakujo tells her, "Running away is a huge mistake." Shankyu asks, "Do you have the right to stop me?" She apologizes to the rest and leaves. Oki and the others decide to follow her. Rashakujo decides to allow it. Since the matter of that group was on her mind anyway, they made a cure even the elders couldn't create. She gives them an order to investigate that group. The next day, they go to the clan's palace, and the guards stop them from entering because no outsiders are allowed to meet leader Hoko. Shankyu tells them, "My brother is sick, and we heard the cure for his illness is here." A man named Shosai appears and tells the guards to let them pass. He welcomes them and, strangely, says, "We've been expecting you." Oki asks him, "How do you know us?" He replies, "Our leader Hoko knows everything." He introduces himself, "I'm leader Hoko's assistant, please come in." They're amazed by how beautiful the place is inside and how it's an ideal society with no wars or plague. Oki asks Shosai, "Are you sure this place won't be affected by what's happening in the world outside?" He replies, "Yes, absolutely, because leader Hoko is with us." Oki responds, "Hoko must be an important person." When they meet Hoko, they find she's a little girl who was born blind. Shankyu introduces herself and asks about the medicine. Hoko replies, "Yes, the cure exists, but I can't give it to you now. If you want the cure, stop hunting Morio." They're shocked, and Oki asks, "What does hunting Morio have to do with this?" She replies, "It's connected to true salvation. I also want an end to this chaotic world, but even without the Morio, warlords continue fighting. Conflict is part of human nature, just like you hunting the Morio." Oki replies, "No, we do it to save people." She replies, "No, you destroy them because they bother you. You're no different than the warlords. And if this continues, chaos won't end." Shankyu asks her, "Then what are we supposed to do?" She replies, "Coexist. The Morio are born from human suffering, so instead of eliminating them with force, accept them. I know accepting them is hard, but true salvation lies behind that." She leaves them and walks away. Shosai tells them, "That's enough for today. I'll prepare a room for you. Think about Lady Hoko's words carefully." In their room, Fusho tells them, "I feel like I'm starting to understand the idea of coexisting with Morio." Oki replies, "The Morio only bring destruction. Of course we can't leave them alone. Our duty is to eliminate them." Shankyu leaves them to clear her head. Oki tells them, "Something's bothering me. This place is completely different from the outside world, way too peaceful. If Hoko can save people from the plague, then why did so many villagers become victims?" It's like she's saying, "If you want to survive, you have to be one of my followers." And she's also asking for coexistence with the Morio. There's something suspicious about all this. They decide to investigate. Elsewhere, Shosai tells Hoko, "If we get the Jizan with the 6th squad, we'll be closer to our goal." Hoko asks him, "Can you do it?" He replies, "Using the special skills our great teacher left us and your power, I definitely can." Meanwhile, Shankyu is sitting alone playing music, and suddenly a boy appears in front of her. She says, "Shantai," and asks, "How are you here?" He hugs her and says, "I missed you, sister." Shankyu still can't believe it's her brother. At the same time, Shuri is walking around searching for any clues and meets two people who stop her and say, "She looks like our daughter who died." Shankyu asks her brother, "Are you okay?" He says, "Yes, thanks to Lady Hoko. After you left, the sickness worsened and I lost hope. I thought I'd never see you again. Then one of the followers came and brought me here." Shankyu is overjoyed, and Shantai tells her, "I was scared I'd never see you again or that you forgot me." She replies, "That could never happen. You were the reason that kept me going on this journey." She starts playing music for him, and he asks, "What's that melody?" She's surprised. It's actually his favorite one. Shantai changes the subject and says, "There's something I want to ask you for." At the same time, Tekken is in the kitchen and says to the box, "Something's weird. The place is spotless like no one's ever touched it. Don't the people here eat?" Meanwhile, Shantai tells his sister, "The truth is, I'm not fully cured." She's shocked because he told her he took the medicine. He says, "The cure isn't complete yet. It's just a temporary improvement. I'm protected here by Lady Hoko's power, but if I leave, the symptoms will return." Shankyu is very upset and asks, what does the cure need to be complete? He replies, one main ingredient. Jizon blood. They're like humans but not human, like demons but not demons, they're a being between light and darkness, and the problem is we need a lot of it. She says, that means Shuri will die, and he replies, I know, but there's no other way, please save me. She tells him, I could never sacrifice Shuri for the medicine. He looks at her with pleading eyes and says, I'm your brother, is she more important than me? Shankyu is stunned by how he's speaking, because she knows her brother would never say something like that. He tells her, time is running out, and shows her the red spots still on his body. Shankyu hesitates and then tells him, no, I could never do that to Shuri. He says, I expected this. I was wrong to ask you in the first place, but I have another request. He pulls out a knife and asks her to kill him. Shankyu is even more shocked, and Shantai says, I can't stand that I thought of sacrificing someone else to save myself and my suffering. Shankyu remembers when she said, no matter what happens, it's my duty as his sister to save him, whatever it takes, and she throws the knife on the ground. Later, Shuri is walking down a hallway and sees Shankyu, so she runs toward her. Suddenly, Shankyu pulls out a sedative and puts Shuri to sleep, and Fusho sees her do it. Meanwhile, Oki tells Tekken, all the flowers are blooming and there's not a single butterfly, no signs of living creatures. Tekken says, we need to regroup and figure out what to do. At the same time, Shankyu goes to Shosai with her brother and the unconscious Shuri. He takes Shuri from her and says, let's start making the medicine now. Oki and Tekken are looking for the others and can't find them. Fusho runs to them quickly and tells them what Shankyu did. Suddenly, all the followers in the palace gather around them. Shankyu is standing in front of Shosai's door, blaming herself for what she did to Shuri, and begins crying. Shantai asks her, do you want relief from your suffering? He says, if death will ease your pain, then you must die. Don't worry, Lady Hoko will guarantee your happiness, just like me. That's when Shankyu realizes it was all a trick. Meanwhile, Shosai tells Hoko, now we can create the ultimate weapon, we won't need to scare the warlord's armies anymore, the central plane will be ours. Hoko tells him, finally, we can build an invincible army, and no matter who our opponent is, not even a hero can rival us. Shosai replies, just like the phoenix rises from the ashes, we, the Taihido, will return. Hoko begins the ritual. At the same time, the palace fills with polluted energy, Shantai's eyes turn red, and he starts choking Shankyu. And here, Oki realizes the truth about the place he had been suspicious of from the beginning. At the same time, Shosai and Hoko start turning Shuri into a demon. She wakes up still conscious and asks them, where am I? What are you doing to me? Shosai replies, we're turning you into a Kyushiki, a corpse under our control, and surely, a Kyushiki made from a Jizon who has already died will be much stronger than any human or demon. Hoko continues pumping the corrupted aura into Shuri to transform her, and Shuri tries to resist, so the ominous aura strikes her face. Meanwhile, Oki tells Fusho to run so she won't be an obstacle for them since she can't fight. Shankyu regains consciousness again. Shosai tells Shuri, there's no way you can resist the unique skills given to me by a woman in a cloak while I was traveling, the filth of the commoners can't understand the skills written by Master Ryushi himself, that's why I was chosen to revive the Taihido. Elsewhere, the box tells Oki and Tekken, these people are just corpses moving because of the aura. If we don't defeat whoever's controlling them, we won't be able to stop them. So Oki and Tekken decide to bypass them and go to Hoko. Shosai decides to go out and face the 6th squad himself to prevent them from interfering with Hoko and releases more corpses to block the squad. Suddenly, Shankyu appears and slashes them all with her melodies, then ties Shosai with a string and says, give Shuri back. He asks, and if I refuse, will you cut off my head? She replies, are you the one who killed my brother? He says, what are you saying? I saved him, he was sick and hopeless, your brother died inside, and here in this palace, he got to live a pleasant life, and if that's not salvation to you, then what is? He adds, to become a Kyushiki, a person must suffer from the medicine and must have died during the aura creation. Shankyu realizes they were the ones who spread the plague in the first place. He tells her, who knows, maybe that was one of the great Master Ryushi's methods. Suddenly, Shantai appears behind her and Shosai cuts the string with a knife and escapes. Shankyu remembers the first time her brother caught the illness in the field and fainted. She carried him to his room and played for him. Shantai attacks her. She says, I'm sorry I wasn't there during your suffering, and ties a string around his neck and tells him, I'm sorry I couldn't cure you, sorry for being an unreliable sister, and slits his throat as tears roll down her cheeks. Meanwhile, Shosai asks Hoko, is that girl absorbing all the aura we've collected? Hoko replies, the heart curse is a forbidden technique that was sealed. It absorbs aura heavily to gain immense power. He says, that wasn't written in the unique skills book, but what matters is achieving our goal. Suddenly, Hoko tells him, nonsense, the Taihido is nothing. The woman enters and tells Hoko, you're the perfect tool. When Shosai sees her, he's shocked. It's the same woman who gave him the skill book. She tells him, "No, I let you take it so you'd be useful. I'm here to take the cursed heart. It's something someone like you should never have." Hoko adds, "You were just a pawn. I allowed you to create the group with the power of my eye, and you thought you found me. But in truth, I approached you to use you, and the writings you have are fake. This was all a lie from the beginning." The woman continues, "The unique skills to create Kyushiki are something Master Ryushi could never make. All of this was made by our lord, and thanks to your stupidity, we created a lot of corrupted aura and got the heart that will contain it." Suddenly, Hoko turns into a Murio and shocks Shuri, knocking her unconscious. Shankyu appears before the Murio can take the heart from Shuri and tries to take Shuri from it, but the Murio pierces her limbs. Shankyu cuts off her own limbs, hoping it will atone for what she did to Shuri. When she reaches Shuri, the Murio hits Shankyu's eye, but she manages to take Shuri away. Shosai gets angry and says, "I won't let you do whatever you want," and presses a strange button that causes the entire place to collapse, and all the corpses fall unconscious. Shuri wakes up to find Shankyu carrying her. Shankyu apologizes for betraying her and promises to get her back to Oki and the others no matter what. Shuri is very worried because her injuries are severe. After a while, Shankyu loses consciousness. Oki appears and catches her, then takes them out before the building completely collapses. They find that Shuri isn't returning to her normal state even after taking her medicine. Shuri says, "I'm fine, the important thing now is Shankyu." The box tells them, it's strange that Shankyu is still alive despite all these injuries. Shuri tells them, "Shankyu did everything she could to save me." Shankyu wakes up and tells her, "No, I'm the reason for all of this." Fusho shows up at the right moment, and they ask her to heal Shankyu. But unexpectedly, the Murio emerges again from the rubble. Shuri gets furious and attacks her. Shankyu warns them that Shuri now has a lot of corrupted aura inside her and might go berserk at any moment. Shuri attacks the Murio with demon arms. The Murio counters with beams, but Shuri dodges them. The Murio says, "All I want is the cursed heart. If you give it peacefully, I'll give you a quick death." Shuri gets even angrier, and Oki binds her with a chain to stop her from going berserk, telling her, "If you lose control now, Shankyu will be very upset." The Murio attacks again with beams, and Oki puts up a barrier to protect her. Shuri tries to control the massive amount of aura inside her, charges it into her fist, jumps at the Murio, and defeats her with a single blow. Meanwhile, Shosai is walking through the forest, furious about what happened. Tekken appears and says, "We can't let you go after what you did to Shuri." He replies, "But I wasn't the one who did all of this." They get mad at him, and he says, "It's sad, but I was used." Oki appears and asks him to tell them everything he knows. He tells them, this is the doing of the Murio king, who plans to plunge the whole world into chaos. His only wish is total destruction. He tells them, "You're no match for him, struggle as much as you want now," and suddenly vanishes in front of them. After that, they return to Shankyu and Fusho. Fusho reassures them she's still alive, but her eyes won't heal. They find Shiniko sitting and playing music, crying over her brother's death. The next day, Fusho removes the bandages from Shankyu's eye and tells them the wound has fully healed. Rashikujo says she can't restore her sight but can hide the scar. Shankyu refuses and wants to keep it as a reminder of her guilt. She says she didn't just fail to save her brother, she also betrayed Shuri. Shuri responds, "But you risked your life to save me, and I don't hate you." Shankyu thanks her and insists on her decision. Tekken says, "This time the danger was much greater, and we were all close to dying." Rashikujo replies, "True. It was my fault for thinking Shosai was the only enemy. I feel responsible." Tekken asks for a reward for completing the mission. She asks, "You saw death with your own eyes and still want money? Besides, you said you didn't want money anymore." Oki replies, "We won't die that easily." She asks, "You want money too?" He replies, "No, but good food and drink would help relieve our fatigue." Rashikujo agrees and tells them there's a nice town nearby, let's go there. But Shuri grabs Oki's hand and says, "No, I want to rest here a bit first," and Shankyu agrees with her. Rashikujo prepares a big luxurious feast for them on the spot. Shankyu sits with Tekken and talks about how he always wastes his money. The box asks her, "You always save your money, right?" She answers, "Yes, I was thinking of spending it on learning magic. If I can heal people with magic like Fusho, I could help many." Tekken says, "But the money belongs to Rashikujo in the end, and we probably won't see it." Rashikujo walks in and tells him, "Actually, I was planning to give the money you would have wasted to Shankyu." Tekken gets upset, walks off, and takes Fusho with him to leave Shankyu and Rashikujo alone. Rashikujo asks Shankyu, "Do you hate me? You must think if I had given you the medicine earlier, your brother wouldn't have died." Shankyu replies, "The medicine wasn't even complete, so nothing would have changed." Rashikujo says, "But there was a chance." Shankyu answers, "No, that was his fate." Later, Oki sits with Rashikujo and tells her about the Murio King and what Shosai said. She replies, "The Murio King has killed elders many times before. He caused massive destruction in the Central Plains history, which is why the elders defeated and sealed him. I believe he's returned due to the ongoing conflicts and chaos in the world. You've seen for yourself how cruel humans can be. To satisfy their desires, they harm and kill, which breeds hatred and causes more tragedies. Oki says, sounds like you hate humans. She turns away and says, it's our duty as elders to maintain order in the central plane, and saving humans from the Murio is part of that duty. He responds, it's like you're gambling on us. A moment ago, you heard Shankyu's melody. She says, it just caught my attention, that's all. In the end, we have to defeat the Murio. But if the Murio king wipes out all humans, maybe that's better for them too. He asks, because humans don't deserve to be saved? She answers with a question, who do you think is responsible for ruining the world? He replies, you're right. Elders probably see us as fools, but I'll still fight for people. Humans are deeply affected by negative emotions, and it's easy for the Murio to possess them, and if you think that's weakness, I agree. But humans also have good emotions, and because we're human, we have strength, sacrificing ourselves for the ones we love, that's compassion, the heart that feels others' pain, and thanks to being the sixth squad, we helped each other and got this far. Human compassion won't lose to the Murio. I believe that, and I'll protect it. Rashikujo says, that's just like you, but the one you want to protect most is Shuri, who was really in danger in her fight against Shosai and Hoko. If Shuri becomes a Murio, she'll never return to normal. Shuri's not just a Jizan, she's special, you'll understand in time. He replies, I'll protect her for sure, so trust us humans. Later, he sits with Shuri, and she says, I really enjoyed this. I was always isolated because people feared me. I never thought I'd relax like this with the sixth squad. He says, let's always stay like this. She asks, after we finish our mission, what will you do? He says, I haven't thought about it. Maybe I'll go visit Castle Shijo, where I grew up. She says, I'll go with you. Oki asks, is there anything specific you want to do after your mission? She says, I want to learn to write. He promises to teach her and takes the chance to show her how to write her name while they have time. Fusho watches them from afar. Suddenly, the corrupted aura takes over Oki and he loses consciousness. She takes him to Fusho and tells them he has a high fever and shows them a huge mark on his body. Rashikujo says, that's because he overused the bond chain. I warned him at the start and he said he was ready to pay the price, which is absorbing part of the Jizan's aura. Shankyu says, but I purify the aura from him after every battle. Rashikujo replies, the bond chain isn't something easy to deal with, it's a spiritual link that makes the person and the Jizan as one, and aura absorption builds up in him, and your purification clearly isn't complete. She tells Shuri, Oki said he wanted that technique to save you, and he risked his life for you. Shuri remembers every time he told her he wouldn't leave her alone and would protect her no matter what. Rashikujo continues, Oki knew this would happen and surely felt the aura building inside him. Tekken says angrily, but he never told us any of this. Rashikujo replies, because he's not that kind of man. He reached his limit from absorbing more aura than he could handle. If he absorbs more, he'll die. Shuri feels guilty. Shankyu decides to play the purification melody, but it doesn't work on him. Rashikujo says, it's useless, no technique can heal him now. Tekken says, then give him the medicine Shuri uses. She replies, no, that medicine is made specifically for Jizan. He asks Fusho to use her magic, the one that removed the aura from Shuri before. She says, unfortunately, I used it all on her that day, and since my master died, I can't do it again. He asks, so what now? Rashikujo replies coldly, there's nothing we can do. Tekken gets angry and says, don't say that so easily, there has to be a way. You gave him that technique. She replies, and Oki was ready for the consequences. He says, you should have explained more. She answers, no explanation would have changed what's in Oki's heart, and you all know that well. He says, let's at least find a place for Oki to rest, and Shuri stays by his side, making compresses for him. She apologizes, feeling guilty that all of this is because of her, that anyone involved with her ends up like this. Fusho enters and tells her, there's only one way to save him, and nothing else. But it will be very dangerous for you. Shuri begs her to tell her and doesn't care what happens to herself. Fusho says, the only way to save him is for you to absorb all the aura from his body. On the other side, Rashikujo tells Tekken and Shankyu, I still don't know all the side effects of the bond chain, so I'll return to the elders and research it. At the same time, Fusho prepares Shuri to absorb all the aura from him and asks her, why do you and Oki risk your lives for each other? Shuri replies, I think it's because we're human. Fusho is surprised, and Shuri continues, I died once and became a Jizan. I'm neither human nor Murio, but when I give my all for someone like Oki does, I feel human. My father, mother, and Oki risked their lives to save me, and that's why I want to risk my life to save Oki. Shuri places her hand inside Oki and begins absorbing the aura from him. Shuri gets worried she might transform and lose control. Fusho tells her, don't worry, the circle on your back directs the aura to your cursed heart. Suddenly, Shuri feels intense pain in her heart and loses consciousness. Tekken and Shankyu enter and ask, what did you do? Fusho says, don't worry, Oki is fine. I had Shuri absorb all the corrupted aura from him, and thanks to that, her heart is now full. Suddenly, she creates a barrier and pushes them back. Tekken asks, who are you? Fusho transforms into the woman in the cloak. Shankyu says, a follower of the Murio king. She responds in surprise, follower? No, our interests just align. So you could say an alliance. Tekken asks, what are you going to do with Shuri? She answers, I'll send her to the Murio king, with the precious cursed heart, of course. Shankyu asks, was your goal the cursed heart from the beginning? The woman replies, to turn her into a Jizan, Rashakujo used a forbidden technique, and the Murio king wants that technique. Once he obtains the cursed heart, he can open the gate of catastrophe, the gate connecting this world to the other world. Once opened, the dead will emerge as Murio and the central Shinzo plane will become hell. There'll be no need for drawn-out chaos. The dead will slaughter the living, and the slain will become Murio. That's what the Murio king desires. Tekken throws talismans at her, but she pulls out a scroll that electrocutes him, and he loses consciousness. Shankyu binds her with a string, and the woman lets the corrupted aura take over. Shankyu asks her, why did you save me back then? She answers, I saw similarity. Shosai killed your brother, and my family was killed. Your hatred toward the Taihido, your appearance, and the hatred consuming you. Shankyu loses consciousness before responding. At night, Oki wakes up and sees Tekken and Shankyu unconscious. Shankyu wakes and he checks on her. She says, disaster. Fusho kidnapped Shuri. Oki is confused. She explains that Fusho is the woman behind all this trouble. Tekken wakes up and says, she was deceiving us the whole time. Oki remembers blacking out and asks why. Shankyu answers, your body couldn't handle the corrupted aura. Rashakujo appears and checks on Oki, finding that most of the aura is gone. They tell her the Murio king's ally made Shuri absorb the aura. Oki asks if she knows where she took her. Rashakujo says, to the Murio king's castle, the demon palace, and surprises them by saying she doesn't know where it is. The elders have searched for it for ages with no trace. But she says there's a clue, Shuri herself. She tells them that those bound by the chain also form another unbreakable bond. Oki tries to sense Shuri's location using the remaining aura in him and their bond. He finds her, and a light hawk flies from him. Rashakujo tells him, it'll lead you to her, and when you find her, kill her. Everyone is shocked. On the other side, Shuri wakes up and tells Fusho, you tricked me. Fusho replies, no, I let you save Oki as we agreed. In return, I'll take your heart. Using it, I'll fulfill my wish and bring back what was taken from me. Meanwhile, Oki is furious at what Rashakujo said. She tells him, you must destroy the cursed heart before the Murio king gets it. Tekken says, you've changed a lot. First you save her, now you want to kill her. She answers, the situation changed. He angrily replies, because of you. What situation? They're targeting her because of what you did. She asks, so I should have let her die. I did what I had to do, but I made a mistake letting her desire to live affect me. I shouldn't have used a forbidden technique. Continuing life brings suffering, and I got curious. I wanted to answer the question, even with the burden of a cursed fate, why do humans want to live? Oki snaps and grabs her, yelling, Shuri suffered and always wished for death. She replies, then let her die. He says, no, I won't let her. She asks, do you want the Murio to take over the world? Oki answers, with, the hunters, exist to stop that, and he gathers the squad to go save Shuri. By morning, Fusho has prepared a magic circle and begins the ritual. Suddenly, Rashakujo's hawk flies over them. Fusho is shocked they found her. Oki throws a talisman at her that shocks her, but she quickly breaks it. She says, I was about to fulfill my wish and bring back my family, and casts magic on them. Shankyu plays a warding melody. Oki writes a talisman that destroys all her magic scrolls. Tekken fires at her with his cannon. Fusho retaliates and tries again to bring back her family. Oki asks, why? You saved Shuri, healed Shankyu, you always helped us. Shankyu remembers when Fusho said they were similar and asks, what really happened to you? She says, Shosai killed my family, but with this cursed heart, I can bring them back. They realize she never intended to give Shuri to the Murio king. She says the situation will decide, because the cursed heart needs a lot of Murio as nourishment, so she had to work with the Murio king, of course. She never told him her real plan. Oki tells her, still, you have no right to kill Shuri. She answers, I don't care. Isn't it unfair that Shuri got to come back to life? Who doesn't want their family to return? Shankyu says, what you're doing is wrong. Fusho replies, you don't have the right to speak. You sacrificed Shuri to save your brother. Shankyu realizes that's the similarity Fusho saw and says, yes, you're like me. Shankyu continues, we are alike, but it's the wrong path. I shouldn't have sacrificed one for another, and as punishment, I was forced to kill my brother with my own hands. What price will you pay? Fusho gets upset and casts magic at her, but Oki blocks it. Fusho yells, you don't know anything about me. Shuri tries to stop her and says, the one brought back to life suffers greatly. Fusho misunderstands and says, so you can return to life, but not my family? Shuri replies, no, I have to keep eating Murio forever, and one day, I might turn into a Murio myself. Fusho answers, I don't mind that. After losing those you love, if you find any way to see them again, in any form, you'd do it. That's human nature. Shuri says, I always wished for death. I wish I had never come back. I'm sure your family would feel the same. Fusho snaps, you're wrong. Oki finds an opening and hits Fusho, but suddenly a dark and ominous gate opens beneath Shuri. They hear a voice say, Fusho, you're just a foolish woman. Did you really think you could deceive me? I'll take the cursed heart. Fusho yells at the Murio King, no, it's mine. The Murio King strikes her with power and pulls Shuri into the gate. Fusho is devastated that even after betraying them and deceiving them, she didn't achieve her goal. Shankyu tells her, I feel sorry for you, but happiness that comes from others' pain isn't true happiness. Oki adds, we're in your debt, so we won't blame you, but I want you to think about what you did. He asks her, where is the demon palace? She replies, there's only death there. Then they reach the palace and find the Murio King in front of Shuri, trying to open the gate of catastrophe. Shuri bleeds from her eyes, and the whole world darkens with ominous clouds. The Murio King attacks Oki, Tekken, and Shankyu with corrupted aura, then places his hand on Shuri and pulls out her heart. Shuri falls to the ground as just a corpse, and the Murio King merges with the heart, transforming into a woman. Oki and the others feel the same presence as Shuri from her. She tells them, merging with the cursed heart is the final requirement to open the gate of catastrophe. This form I'm in now is temporary and reflects the heart's owner. You could call me the princess of the Murio. Suddenly, she glows intensely and destroys the entire castle. Then, she opens the gate to the other world in the sky, and an endless number of Murio emerge, spreading chaos and taking over people. On the other side, Oki holds Shuri's corpse, deeply upset that he couldn't protect her as he promised. Shankyu and Tekken feel guilty too. Then Oki places her on the ground and says, if we keep whining like this, we won't be able to face her again. We have to stop the gate of catastrophe no matter what. Meanwhile, the princess of the Murio is singing by the gate to open it. Oki and the others arrive, and she says, you're late. Don't you hear the chaos? Then she sends a group of Murio at them, but they dodge. Tekken combines his power with Shankyu's and fires a massive beam at the Murio. Oki seizes the chance and charges at the princess of the Murio, but she pushes him away with a sound echo, sending him and the others flying. She says, the farce is over. Watch the end of the world quietly. She continues singing by the gate, and more Murio come out. Oki tries to stand, but his body won't respond. He gets closer to Shuri's body and apologizes for being unable to do anything, even though he wants to defeat the princess of the Murio. He touches her hand, and a connection forms, and he hears Shuri's voice saying, sorry I died at a time like this, but don't worry, I believe in you, and there's no way you'll lose to her. Oki stands up with difficulty to prove that their bond is stronger than the Murio King. He remembers he still has a weapon, the bond chain connecting him to Shuri's heart. He links to the princess of the Murio's heart and begins drawing out the corrupted aura. She asks, why are you doing all this? He replies, it doesn't compare to the pain you caused Shuri. She asks, do you want to die? He answers, as long as I defeat you, I don't mind. The princess of the Murio pulls an aura and releases it on him in massive amounts. She says, unfortunately, aura flows into me through the gate of catastrophe, so I no longer need what the girl collected. The overwhelming amount causes Oki to pass out again. Before Tekken and Shankyu can intervene, she hits them with aura too, and they also lose consciousness. Suddenly, a golden chain emerges from Shuri, grabs Oki's hand, and draws the aura from him. Rashikujo sees it and is shocked. She senses the transformation spell she cast to make her a Jizan is still active in her body even after she lost the cursed heart. Shuri draws aura from Shankyu and Tekken too, and the four of them become connected. Shuri awakens, and they all feel immense power inside them. They rush at the princess of the Murio, and Oki creates a massive barrier that blocks her corrupted aura. Shankyu appears behind her and plays the purification melody. Tekken blasts her with fire, burning her. Shuri uses the demon hands. The princess of the Murio gets furious and summons lightning bolts from the sky. They try to dodge them. Suddenly, she summons a massive demon dragon from the gate, which attacks them rapidly. Oki blocks it with his barrier, but it still slams them into the ground. Even so, they manage to stand up again with difficulty. Shuri tells Oki, let me go berserk with the aura. If the aura inside me makes me go berserk, the cursed heart will respond and create a huge power. Oki asks, what will happen to you? She laughs and says, I'll die again this time, without leaving a trace. They're all shocked and refuse her idea. She says, there's no other way. If the gate of catastrophe opens and the Murio take over this world, everything will be destroyed. To stop that, I'll do anything. But without my cursed heart, I'm not sure it'll work, so I have to try. Oki replies, I'll go with you. The bond chain is meant to connect me to you, so I'm the one who can control your power the most. Tekken yells at him, do you seriously want to die? Oki replies, we won't know if we'll die or not unless we try. They all shake hands and promise to come back. Tekken and Shankyu rush in with fake copies of Shuri and Oki, while on the other side, the real Shuri and Oki charge at the princess of the Murio from behind. They unite their powers and transform into a powerful glowing sphere. As soon as they touch the princess of the Murio, she screams, and the Murio king is expelled from her body. He and the dragon evaporate, and the gate closes. The sky becomes clear again. Tekken and Shankyu ask Rashikujo, "Where are Oki and Shuri?" She replies, "I don't know. Their presence has vanished, but I'm sure they're alive. That's what I feel." Later, Tekken opens the restaurant he always dreamed of. Rashikujo tells him, "After you begged me to open this restaurant, I'll make you work as a hunter again." He replies, "No way. I've decided to live a quiet life for Oki and Shuri." She says, "But the Murio king escaped. The gate of catastrophe closed, but the Murio are still wreaking havoc, and the other hunters aren't competent." He replies, "Unfortunately, Shankyu and I decided not to join again without Oki and Shuri." Shankyu confirms it and says, "Squad 6 has disbanded." At that moment, Oki and Shuri are standing outside the restaurant door.